What's going on, folks? So it's been quite a while since I've been in the shop here. A lot of things going on. Just got over Thanksgiving, and we just finished up our Dunefest video series. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, I've been looking at kind of what I'm going to do for future content and everything, and one of the things I want to look at are clutches. And this is something that's kind of been relevant for me because I've been testing different clutches to kind of see if I like something different. So what I actually have here are 4 different clutches. These are all for the FL350, and full caveat, I'm not a clutch expert by any stretch of the imagination. So anything I say here, I'm sure other smarter people may have something more intelligent to say. But since I have all these 4 here, I'm going to just kind of go through them all so that you guys kind of know what actually is out there. And if there is something that's here or that's not here that was available for the FL350, please add in a comment if you like to let me know, and I'll see if I can find one. So to start off with, we have the original Salsbury clutch, and this is what came on the Odysseys, and this was my personal clutch that I had on my FL350 for a long time, and that worked pretty good until something inside of here broke. I don't remember exactly, and I could have repaired it and may still repair it at some point in time. I just haven't had the reason to. And when it broke on me, what I did is what most people do, which is they go out and get a Comet clutch. Now, I do have these on our website available with Comet, so if you're interested in a Comet clutch, you can check us out on oddballorv.com, and we have them there. So this is what's called the 94C. This is probably the most common replacement clutch that most people get. This particular one is quite used. It came as part of a package deal with a bunch of parts and everything that came with that Odyssey over there as well. And so I've not used this one personally, but I have used the 94C on my personal ride, and I used it for about 2 years, and it was excellent. Now, one of the things that the 94C is not well known for is the adjustability. And it is actually adjustable. You have to remove this housing, which was not intuitive to me at first, but this is the bolt. And you have to get a puller here. And basically, this metal housing is pressed onto this shaft. So you have to basically grip it from here and pull it off, and it'll pull off, and then you get access to the weights and springs that are underneath. I've not done that personally, so I can't really show you that process because I have no idea what I'm supposed to use to pull on it. I'm sure maybe there's a special tool. I'll probably follow up with that later at some point in time. Now, another clutch that I have is the 102C clutch. So as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the 94C is the older design, and the 102C is a newer design. And the major difference is that the 102C has more of an exposed surface. Now, this particular clutch is missing weights and springs, so you're not going to see all that stuff in here. Can't really show it off, but there would be springs and weights to make all this stuff work. The thing that the 102C is known for is for adjustability. It's not that difficult to adjust. You can remove these bolts, I believe, and then you'll be able to get access to the weights and springs and make your adjustments there. In fact, one of the complaints that I've heard about the 102C is that there is so much adjustability in this thing that it's really hard to dial in. Now, I'm not a clutch guy, so I wouldn't know one over the other how difficult it is. I've never done any tuning with any of these clutches. But the guy that told me that, I definitely respect his insight, so I'm going to take his word for it. The last clutch that I have here is kind of a rarer clutch, and I stumbled across this by accident. I didn't even realize I had it. This is a Power Bloc clutch. And these were available for a while. Now, Power Bloc, the company, is out of business, at least from what I understand. And so these are no longer made, and they're pretty rare. I am working on a deal to list used versions of these on the website. More to come on that in the future. Hopefully it comes together, but I don't want to reveal anything. But if you're interested in a Power Bloc clutch, by all means hit me up. I might be able to get you in contact with someone who has them. Conversely, if you have a Power Bloc clutch, and even if it's in pieces, like here I got some pieces over here, these were damaged. So you can see this is all chipped off, probably a rock or something got in between the belt and the side here. Chipped that. You know, we may be interested in buying parts and pieces. It just depends. So if you have clutches used and parts and pieces and stuff like that, let me know. But anyways, this is the Power Bloc clutch, and the nice thing about this one is that the adjustability is really easy. So this is the bolt that holds it on to the shaft. You'd remove this. This housing comes off like that, and that gives you access to these, I guess they're called pucks. And inside of there's some screws. There's these little weights, and I actually have a little baggie because I got some extra weights with this. But they're just metal little discs like this, just like that. And what you do is you just change the number of pucks that you have, and that will change the performance of the clutch. So it's actually, when I was looking at it, this is really simple compared to this. And the guy that didn't like these, but really likes these, he kind of explained it to me. And after kind of setting, I realized I get it now, because there's not a bunch of springs and stuff in here to mess with. There's basically just these. You add some weights, you subtract some weights, and you kind of get it to engage where you want it to. There is obviously a spring that's inside of it, which is here. And I believe you can also adjust this if you want, or change it out if you wanted to. So that's the Power Bloc clutch. I do hope to actually get this particular Power Bloc clutch running on my machine. At some point in time, I hope I can do like a shootout, which would be to have my machine running really, really good, and then kind of find a good hill, sand dune or something like that, and then start swapping out each different clutch and just seeing, you know, how it does. Now, honestly, to really do something really, really good, you'd have to kind of tune the clutch to the ride to make it kind of a fair competition, because this clutch might be set to engage at a different RPM than this clutch and this clutch. So getting an apples to apples comparison with all this stuff is kind of difficult. I think more than anything, it's really about the tunability and the ease of tunability and that sort of aspect of it. Performance-wise, I'm sure they all kind of have their pluses and minuses. What I've understood, like the Salsbury is a very solid clutch. It's, you know, most of us have been running it for a really long time. It's pretty reliable. The 94C, solid clutch, basically a bolt-on solution if you need something. The 102C, if you want to really do a lot of tuning, this is it. Of course, the Power Bloc. All right, so I went through and explained, or kind of showed all the different clutches, and I forgot to explain why you'd want to actually adjust them. Now, I'm not an expert here, so hopefully someone else can explain this better in the comments, but basically by changing the RPM engagement where the clutch engages with the belt, that will help to keep the motor in the power band of like your pipe and everything. So it's basically a performance thing. The higher RPM, or basically spinning the clutch up at a higher rate before it actually engages the belt, means that the motor will be in the power band when the belt is engaged by the clutch, and so you'll take off faster. So if you're trying to pop wheelies and stuff, that's kind of one of the things that you would do, as I understand it. Now, if you know more than that, please leave a comment. The next thing is, and this isn't really common on the FL350, but it is more of a thing that happens on the FL250s. A lot of people go out and they buy an FL250 as a project, and the motor's blown, and instead of rebuilding the motor, which you always should do, because they're rebuildable. That's the whole point of a two-stroke. Well, it's not the whole point, but it's one of the great features of a two-stroke, is that it's easily rebuildable. But on instead of rebuilding the motor, what they do is they go out and buy a Predator engine, and they put it in, and then they get their kit in it, and they're wondering why it won't go very fast. And now, there's a lot of pretty decent Predator motors out there that have close to the same horsepower as the original two-stroke motor, but the difference is the RPM. On a four-stroke motor, the RPM is going to be way less than on a two-stroke motor. And these clutches are designed to engage at a certain RPM. And so if you're using a Predator motor, it's not engaging the clutch completely in order to actually drive the motors. So we see this a lot on the Facebook forums. A lot of people say, hey, why isn't this spinning up? Why isn't it going fast? I put a Predator motor in it. It seems like it should go faster. It's because of the RPM difference. Now, I'm sure maybe you can tune one of these clutches to work with the Predator motor or four-stroke motor. I don't have any experience in it. If that's what you're doing, you know, hopefully it works out for you. But I just wanted to explain that real quick. Again, the tunability is all about where the clutch engages with the belt at what RPM. So hopefully that helps you guys understand that. With that, I'm going to jump back into where I was explaining the rest of these clutches. Now, the last piece here, and I don't have a full one, but I'll show you, is the driven clutch. And we also have these available too. The driven clutch looks like this, and this is what hooks up to your transmission. Let me move this out of the way here. This is the driven clutch. And I'm missing this part of it, plus the spring. Actually, I do have the spring. Let me grab that real quick. My bucket of bolts. This is an upgrade spring, or well, I shouldn't say an upgrade spring, it's just an aftermarket spring. And I'm waiting for the other part in order to put all this together. But anyways, this is your driven clutch, and this obviously expands like that as these expand. So let me see if I can show it here. As the Odyssey engine speeds up, these plates press together. They get closer together like that. I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? Hang on a sec. See if I can show it on this. Well, no, I'm not going to be able to show it. But anyways, you just got to imagine, as the motor speeds up, all these weights and springs and stuff, they basically, centrifugal force forces these plates together. And what that does is it causes the belt that's in here to ride up onto the surface. And of course, that changes the gear ratio. And in order for that to happen, your secondary clutch needs to be able to move outwards. And so that's where it will start like this, where the belt's in here. And then of course, as this engages, the belt rides up, then the belt needs to ride down because the belt's not going to expand in length. And so this actually pulls outwards like that, and the belt sinks further down. That's how you keep your gear, the length, whatever, the same, while changing an infinite variable gear ratios and everything. It's a really genius setup. And for the most part, for the Odyssey, it's perfect because all you're doing is your thumb controls, but you get the benefit of a variable or transmission, basically different gearing to give you better performance in different situations. So I'm going to actually, at some point when I get this part, put the spring in, put all this together and put it on. Now the red spring, as I understand it, this is what I have. And I purchased this, and I'm going to be adding all these parts to the website that I don't currently have. But the red spring is a little bit softer. I think that's what it is. So that, no, I'm sorry, it's actually stiffer. It's stiffer, which means that as this engages, if you're going up like a sand dune or something like that, that red spring is going to keep these plates closer together, meaning that this is going to stay in a lower gear, giving you more power as you're climbing up a sand dune. Anyways, that's everything I got kind of for this clip. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And at some point, I will try to do a shootout or at least a little bit of comparison between these things. But I got a lot of cleaning and tuning and stuff to do beforehand. So with that, hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving, and you guys have a safe week. Try and go out and ride some and have a good time with your friends, and we'll catch you guys in the next clip. Take care.